I am right now. Apparently no password. I know. I think they can hear us.
Yeah, you're on, Bernie. I can hear you.
You hear me?
I sure can.
Maybe not. Oh, I don't have a microphone hooked up.
Yeah, I'm on my handset because
Ah.
I find that easier, but whatever works. Who's SCDMI?
Well, I'm on here, but I can't mute my button. How do you do that?
It should be on the sidebar. If you open up, if you go down to the bottom toolbar and open up participants down at the bottom, or you should see an icon. You should be able to mute yourself. Oh, there's Janet.
This is Janet.
Hi,
Can
you hear me? Hi, Bernie here.
Hello? Can
Yep,
anyone?
I can hear you, Bernie.
Oh, good.
Who is SCDMI?
Sean,
What was that?
Sean. Okay.
Janet's in. Can you hear me and see me?
Yes and yes.
Great.
So when we want to talk, we just unmute ourselves, and then when we're done talking, mute back, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
You need an updated computer so we can see your face.
Oh no.
Just like-
there are no webcams in my future.
Yeah. Oh, yes.
Hello. Hey, how
I
do we
can't-
do this? This is Joanne.
You're right there, Joanne.
You can hear me?
Of course we can hear you.
Well, I can only see Jan on my computer screen.
You
Oh,
should be
wait,
able to see Charlene too.
I see Charlene too.
Yeah, the rest of us are all dialed in on phones apparently.
Yes, correct.
Be unsocial.
I
Zoom
am
is kind of like
unsociable.
that GoToMeeting app as well, correct?
Yeah, more or less.
Similar. I just had two of those today.
Yeah, I've been to other GoToMeetings before, but I don't have a camera on my computer, so that's why you can't see me, which is fine. I didn't dress up today. Well, I mean, I'm dressed, but I'm not.
You sure you're not in your pajamas?
Well, close. Do you call sweatpants pajamas, I suppose?
Who just came in on a phone line ending in 2680?
How can you tell? Somebody's
Because
there.
I can see it.
hold on, I gotta shut my sound off on my computer. Off. Okay. Rich here.
That's you on the 2680?
Yipper.
Okay, so you appear on my screen twice for some reason. All right, no big deal.
Probably because my phone line is also connected to my computer.
Maybe.
So we don't have any visuals, right?
Not on any of the phone computers.
We
I
have
tried-
the ability to share documents if we need to.
And
Oh, you do? Okay.
I did send PDFs of all the documents we'll be discussing to people.
Okay, I did get that. I'm just used to when on a GoToMeeting, the person taking care of the meeting puts her computer screen up on the screen. So we don't have that ability to do that, right?
Well, I'm the host, so I do. If there's a document you want me to pull up, I can. I haven't
Oh,
hosted yet, so I don't know how to do it but I'm sure it's easy.
Okay, all right. Well, we've got all the paperwork, like Jan said. Okay, that
Yeah.
works for me.
So right now, we only have 3 members of the,
No, there's 4. You, Bernie, Charlene, and Joanne.
okay, oh, yep, okay, good.
How do you know Bernie's here?
Because I
I'm
can see
here.
his name on the screen.
Oh, okay. I'm still. I don't see him on my screen. So, hey, Bernie.
I should still be here. Can you hear me?
Yeah,
Yes.
we can hear you,
Okay.
Bernie.
I can hear you.
Well, I pressed a
the
button that said
microphone.
participants and everybody came up who was listed.
So whenever you're ready, Janet, you do have your quorum.
Okay, I didn't hear from anyone else who said they weren't attending, so I don't know if we should wait. Or just go
I have
for
nowhere
it.
pressing to be.
Okay. Okay, then why don't we bring this special meeting of the MSRAC committee to order on Friday, April 9th at 1 o'clock via Zoom. The first item on the agenda is approval of minutes for the March 13th, 2020 regular meeting that Steve ran last month.
I'll make a motion. It's Joanne. To accept.
Okay, we have a motion from Joanne. Is there a second?
I'll
I'll
second.
second.
Okay, that must have been Joanne and or Bernie. Second, any further discussion on the minutes? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, that's 3. Any opposed? Okay, the minutes are approved. Item 3, correspondence. I don't have any listed for MSRAC unless you have any, Tira.
Not related to MSRAC, no.
Okay. Item 4, citizens' comments. Item 5, committee business, 630 Riverside Drive. If there are any updates.
Did we ever talk to Sean about fixing the gate? I know that we were gonna ask him again to fix that piece.
He's on here right now, so you are talking to him about it right now.
Can you hear me?
Where are you? Oh, we can't see you, just hear you?
Can you hear me?
Yes,
Okay, I'm learning as I go here. So you can't see me, but you can hear me.
Yes.
yes.
All right. So yeah, someone hit the gate again. I don't know who, the one near the entrance. So once I'm comfortable leaving New Hampshire, which I don't know when that's going to be, I'll work on that gate near the entrance.
Is that the gate, the area you were talking about, Charlene?
The one like when you go around the corner and you don't make it, it's laying down, yeah.
The
Was
one
that-
where the realtor sign is on, Charlene?
Yes, yes.
Okay. Yep. I'm not in Connecticut, and I'm in New Hampshire, and so my travel is stuck in New Hampshire for 14 days. So after that, I'll take a look at that fence again.
All right. Any way to
Okay.
put it dirtier, like so when they hit it, they total their vehicle?
Yeah, I got a license plate the last time, which I gave to the troopers. So hopefully I get another one.
Okay.
But yeah, so in the next couple of weeks when I get back on site, I'll work on that.
Thank you.
Okay,
Yep.
great, thank you. So the next item on the agenda, if there's nothing else for 630 Riverside Drive, would be member comments. Okay. Was anybody commenting? then,
Is Bernie trying to comment? Does anybody, it keeps showing me a green screen but then nothing happens.
Are you there, BH?
Oh, yeah, sorry, I had to press the microphone button.
Were you commenting?
No,
Oh, okay.
no.
okay, then I believe we can adjourn the MSRAC meeting at 1:06 PM and move on to the special meeting of the bar grant subcommittee. Whoop, I have a cat. Oh, it's all wet. Okay. So the first item on the agenda under the bar grant is the approval of the minutes from the March 13th, 2020 regular meeting.
So moved.
Do we have a motion to approve those minutes?
That I heard Bernie.
Okay, Bernie made a motion to approve. Any second?
I'll second.
Was that Joanne or?
I think it's Charlene beat her to it.
Okay.
Oh.
Sure. Then Charlene seconds. Any other discussion on the minutes? All in favor?
Aye.
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 Any opposed? Okay, the minutes are approved. So I guess we can move on to correspondence. There was some items of correspondence, but they're entirely related to the lot zip committee business, so I thought we could discuss them under that task.
That's fine.
Is that fine?
Aye.
Yes.
Okay, then number 4, citizens' comments. Number 5, committee business. So this is the important business of today. The lot zip construction funded sidewalk project from Rawson Ave to Route 200. I guess we can bring everybody to date. So the bids were, the RFPs were submitted, and I did send out a memo about that. So we received 7 good, high quality proposals. The bid amounts, 4 of the bidders were over like $106,000, and then the remaining 4 bidders were like below $90,000. So since we couldn't, social distancing was in effect, and we talked about having interviews, and I think we all pretty much decided that interviews didn't make sense. So so the bottom 4 proposals were reviewed in great detail by myself, Tiara, Rich, and from CME, John Guskowski, and their engineer, Pete Parent. We reviewed them all and scored them. I believe I forwarded like our score sheets to everybody. And did everybody get a chance to look at that information?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
So one of the items of correspondence was Tiara's letter to all of the consultants who put in proposals to notify them that we would not be having interviews and that we had a scoring system and reviewed the proposals. And so CME, I mean, we knew that their work was coming to an end, and given the amount of the bids of the proposals, it became to a point where they knew that their work was coming to an end, and they specifically asked us to write them a letter notifying them that they should cease work on the bar grant project so that the remaining funds could be used to pay for the consultant to design the sidewalk. So that was the other piece of correspondence that was forwarded. Does anybody, I don't know, do you want me to read the names of the consultants, or everybody just has that? Any?
If you can just read the names, that would be great.
Okay, so I can read the names and the prices. So the top three, which, like I said, were kind of really out of our price range, were AI engineers for $110,400, Malone and McBroom, $110,400, Weston and Sampson, $106,800. And then the four low bidders were Freeman Companies for $79,990, Anchor Engineering Services, $88,100, Leonard Engineering, $73,000 even, WMC, $47,500. So those were the 7 consultants and the 7 prices. They all submitted, lengthy proposals that were, I don't know, maybe 50 pages long with their qualifications and references.
Janet, can I interrupt you 1 second? Who came on a phone line, last 4 digits, 2969?
Norma O'Leary.
Thank you, Norma.
Well, welcome, Norma.
Hi, Norma.
Thank
Hi,
you.
Norma.
Hi. I'm a little frustrated since I've been trying for 15 minutes, but that's all right.
We got you, though.
Yes.
And we're just getting into the good stuff now.
Yeah.
Oh, good.
Did you receive those PDFs of copies of the correspondence and everything, Norma, and the score sheets?
Yes, I've read all that stuff.
Okay, great. So if everybody has read the information, then what the 5 reviewers independently, all 5 reviewers selected Freeman Companies as being the #1 choice independently. And then when we tallied up the scores, just to account for different averages or anything, they also turned out to have the highest overall average score. And if you guys looked at the individual short score sheets, you could probably see some of the comments that people made. Their proposal seemed to be really tailored to the town. They had the really good experience with the LOTSIP grant. Their project team included a traffic engineer and a landscape architect. And what else, Tira or Rich? Well, I think I see Rich is on, but do you have any other comments about the proposals?
Well, as when we met about it, I certainly thought theirs was the most appealing visual. And as you pointed out, the only one that was truly customized to the town in terms of including a concept sketch of their own. There were some references, I think, in some of the other proposals, but nobody came out and said, hey, here's a picture of what we're going to try to do for you. I thought that was, a wise choice. Also, it was by far the most diverse, both in terms of type of people working on the project with qualifications, but also the most ethnically and gender diverse. So, there's certain government contracts where that is a distinct plus. In this case, I just think it brings a diversity of opinion.
Can I ask a question? It's Joanne. Where are they from?
Somewhere near Hartford. I could go get the stack of proposals. They're in
I can grab it. It's right to hand. I just got to put my handset down.
Okay. And interestingly enough, Freeman Companies was put in proposals for the environmental remediation when we were doing it for the river mill. And I remember reviewing those with Marianne and Ken, and they, in the end, we hired CME, but they had a really good proposal then. So they have been looking for work in town for a while. They've responded in the past to our RFPs.
They're from Hartford.
Yeah. Okay.
Also, their representative on the day we did the pre-bid meeting was the best dressed, so.
And he asked the best engineering questions.
Janet's priorities and mine are clear now.
I mean, so process-wise, let's see, I guess I should make sure we're following the agenda. So I guess process-wise, it's appropriate for us to make a motion to make a recommendation to the selectmen to award this contract to one of these consultants. But it's also important that we discuss the budget. Their price, let's say for round numbers, their price is $80,000. It's only $10 short. And Tira received the last invoice from CME, so she was able to determine our available budget. So why don't you tell us about that, Tira?
Yeah, so I did get the last invoice on this project from CME, which was, around $8,000 somewhere, which is actually a little higher than I expected, but it was fine. I've submitted that back for payment. So then I deducted, of course, I have to fill out a worksheet every time I do a payment requisition, so I know what, it currently shows is left. In addition to that, I deducted the $5,000 for the bar grant that we know we've committed to the wayfinding project, and the 4.2, which is going to go to Provost and Rivera after the Blaine Road intersection. So that leaves us with 75.5 roughly to commit. So it's not quite all there, but it's pretty close.
How do we make up that difference?
Well, that remains to be seen. Janet had mentioned that she thought there might have been a little trimming that could be done in the proposal itself. Why don't you explain what your justification for that was,
Okay.
Janet?
Okay, if there's a couple different things. We could see if we could get another $4,500 from another budget source within the town, or we could reduce the scope of the project in terms of, like, the length of the project. Instead of doing 7,400 feet, we do 7,000 feet. Obviously, a smaller project would be a smaller level of design effort. But what I think, since we're this close, it may be possible to, if everybody agrees to go with this company, to contact them and ask them if there's that they can review their numbers and see if they can reduce the scope of their work slightly without us reducing the length of our project. And one example that I mentioned to Tira was they had a comment that they were going to produce engineering cross sections every 50 feet throughout the whole drawing. I mean, throughout the whole project. And we have a lot of similar situations. So we might be able to tell them, like, the situation with the steep embankment in front of the school is pretty consistent for a couple hundred feet. We don't need them to create a plan for every 50 feet. So it might be possible for them to just scale back the level of their work slightly if we, explain to them that our budget doesn't quite meet.
Sounds like a good plan to me.
Yeah, I agree, because, I you approach them and say, listen, we're short like 5%. Maybe they could tweak their proposal a little bit just to give us the, so we could give them the job. If we ask, maybe they'll give us a discount.
Right, and I don't want to have it done shorter because we've gotten, they did it for X amount of feet, and it's kind of like putting a chain link fence in and stopping halfway. It looks so obvious. Like, why didn't you just finish it to the end? We're $5,000 short. I would rather not do the project at all. Just don't start it, because that's what happens. Things start looking tacky and unfinished because we're cheap and cheesy sometimes. Sorry.
Hey, ask, you may get it. doesn't hurt to ask and tell them that they were the best company, but they're a little bit high. Is there any tweaking they can do?
Yeah.
See what they say?
Go ahead, Janet.
Yeah, I think, I mean, it would be, I mean, it was like a kind of a bid process, so we would probably ask them to remove something from their scope versus just saying, can you do it for cheaper? You know, there's a difference there, and, you know, one's like the high road and the other's the low road. So,
I agree. I agree completely, Janet. And I think you're the person to do it because you know that world.
Yes, definitely.
Yeah, go for it.
okay, so.
Yeah, and it's reasonable that we may still have, you know, a gap there, but if we can shrink the gap, then it makes coming up with, you know, trying to find another source to make up the difference that much easier.
Right. And there is some other, I mean, we wouldn't really have a buffer if we awarded the contract for like exactly the amount that's left in our bar grant. I mean, it would be good to have like a 10% contingency or something, because when it comes to reproducing plans for bidding, like reproduction costs can be, you know, that could be $1,000 or so. I don't know, that there are some contingency issues too, so maybe we should try to ask them. I don't know, or maybe there's some other budgets just out of other offices that pay for reproductions. I don't know.
I think the first thing that you said is like, we don't need it every 50 feet. If you can explain to them why, and I'm sure that they'll see that same thing, that might be enough, you know, and then ask maybe see if there is another budget available so that we would already know before we went ahead and asked them to come down on it. Either we had it or we didn't have it. And then you would know what to play with. If they say, well, if we take a couple of 50 feet away, that's only $1,000. Then you can say, okay, well then what about the next thing? But if we have the money and they say, no, we have to do that, there's no other way, then at least we have plan B.
Okay, so procedurally, I guess we need to know a couple things, like do we need I think a consensus on the committee to go with Freeman Companies? We should probably have a vote on that. And then if everybody agrees with that, then I guess we need to discuss, I think Amy is on too, whether I should call them first, whether we should make the recommendation to the Board of Selectmen first.
Well, I think, can't you make a recommendation to the board stipulating that we realize that we're short $4,500 and that you're trying to see how we can readjust their proposal?
I think we should just simply vote on choosing Freeman
Okay.
and ask Janet to review the proposal in detail and select the areas where it can be trimmed in terms of amount of work, and then call them and ask them to resubmit the price with the trimmed areas removed before
Is
we
that a
submit it to
motion,
the
Bernie?
selectmen. Yeah, that's a
I like
motion.
that. Okay, I'll second that.
Okay, so Bernie made the motion and Joanne seconded it to, that the committee, I guess, that the committee's in favor of awarding Freeman Companies the design contract, but I'll call them first before we give it to the selectmen? Is that-
Correct. And ask for a revised proposal with those, whatever items you select removed, which should lower the price.
Okay.
It can very easily be done, after reviewing everything, we've realized we don't need this, we don't need that. And so we'd like those things removed from your proposal and let them know we've selected them. So, they
Okay.
don't feel like they're being jerked around.
Okay, so I guess, is there any further discussion on that motion? Then all in favor?
Aye.
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 Any opposed? Okay, then I guess the motion carries. I can reach out to them, I guess. I mean, it says that Amy's on here too. I guess I want to make sure that I wouldn't be violating any town protocols if.
Janet, not that I know of, it certainly would have been my suggestion to do just what you did, to work with the engineering firm to get the number down. And whatever number you end up with is what we should present to the Board of Selectmen.
Okay,
That was my
Yeah,
thought.
I think the only mandate for the first selectman really is to sign the contract, really.
okay. Just as, you know, as a volunteer, I always want to make sure I'm not overstepping my bounds.
You're fine, Jan.
You're more than just a volunteer, Jen.
Yes.
Okay, then, I think on our agenda, we've discussed under the lot zip application, the sub points 1, 2, 3, and I guess we're up to 4, the NECOG application status. Has
I
Jim-
emailed Jim Lark. I had a couple of things to email Jim about earlier in the week. He hasn't replied. I know that they're all working from home, but I have 2 open things. I did specifically say, hey, could you tell me what's going on with the lot zip application? But I think even when we turned it in, he said those take months for DOT to review once they go over them at the COG.
Right.
But if he does actually get me an update, then I will pass it along regardless.
Okay, great. I know DOT will take a long time, but if we can at least get Jim to submit it, get confirmation he submitted it, that would be great.
Hey, before we move on from this topic entirely, since Rich is here, Rich, did you have any comments you wanted to make on any of the proposals or what we're planning to do there?
No, looks fine from where I'm sitting.
Excellent.
Okay, and any other discussion on the lot zip sidewalk project? Okay, then I guess we can move on to committee business 5B, the Blaine Road intersection design update. We do actually have an update. We have a preliminary plan. I sent out the PDF to everyone.
Look good
does
to me.
So Bernie says looks good. Any comments from anyone else?
Yeah, it was kind of small print, Jan, for me. I couldn't blow it up, so I couldn't figure out exactly what the intersection was going to look like. There were little squares or rectangles. I didn't know what that was referencing.
Well, most of the rectangles seem to be boxed around their proposed construction notes.
Oh, okay.
Any
Oh,
Oh, thank you.
that's
I'm
great.
going to enlarge that. Is that big enough, Joanne?
Yeah. Oh, that's perfect. Yes.
Now, what were you doing, Joanne? Looking at it on your phone?
No, on my computer screen. I don't do things on my phone, but no, I was looking on my computer screen. I just couldn't see what was in those little rectangles, which now it says they're referencing things. And I couldn't
Hold
read
down the control key and spin the button on the mouse. That'll zoom in on it for you.
No kidding. Oh, thank you.
So,
Getting a little tech lesson today.
yeah, so you can see that all the proposed items, at least in this preliminary plan, are all boxed out, you know, where he's proposing curb. And you can see that the configuration is much more of a T intersection, and he measured the sight line and found the sight line to be adequate, and, you know, put on notes about removing bituminous concrete and planting grass. The reason why that one area is shaded in the darker gray, that's basically a sightline triangle area. So if there were to be any landscaping at that intersection, you would avoid that shaded area because it could restrict your sightline looking south.
Or 2 foot max, as he says in his note.
Right, right.
Possibly this will solve the continual striking of the fence as well.
Yeah.
It definitely should. I guess my only comments were the DOT engineer said something about that we should put in some chevron signs, which are those, sharp angle turn signs. I didn't see that he specified any there, but that will be the DOT will comment. Anything that the DOT sees when they review this, they'll issue written comments to our engineer, so.
Where would those chevron signs go? Where do you think they would?
I think they would go to the left-hand side of the sheet. They would go like adjacent, right around where Tira's pointer arrow is. There would be like a line of them. So people driving from the north to the south on the right-hand side of the road, you would see arrow signs pointing you to go left.
Okay.
Forget what the other sheets looked like.
Yeah, and those would actually help people get used to the idea that they can't swing right along the fence line river like they always have for years. So I think those are a great idea, short-term and long-term.
And then here's his narrative stuff.
Looks great to me. Go for it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Rich, did you have any comments about it since you're the contractor on this job?
No, everything looks fine to me.
Okay, yeah,
Hey.
it looked
You're
good to
very
me.
agreeable today, Rich.
Really?
I'm just trying to remain calm with all of the stuff that I have going on, so.
No, I thought it was because you're in your living room with a beer.
No, that was actually the Board of Finance meeting the other night. No,
Yeah, so,
I'm in
I
my
mean-
office. As far as I'm concerned, like you said, once the plan gets submitted to DOT, they're going to come back with their findings on what they want.
Right,
The tricky thing, they're going to require us to put chevrons there. The tricky thing with that is putting them in a place where they're not going to be a sightline issue, just because they'll be on that radius where you'll be we'll have to be cautious about sightline from where the stop bar is on coming off of Blaine Road looking north.
Right.
But
Right.
as far as everything else goes, the in the blocks, proposed proposed plantings with a that will grow no more than a certain size, so they don't become a sightline issue, and so on and so forth. I mean, I think it's a very straightforward design.
And the chevron placement is such, basically, that's going to be by state dictates anyway, because it's on a state road, right?
Correct.
Just in terms of, particularly on this side, because there's more of it, the proposed landscaping, and to a lesser extent, like footpath, because obviously this becomes now a landscape area. What would your general plan be for that? I mean, it's just indicated here, but it's not like we're going to have a tree and we're going to have a bench and we're going to have this. I mean, what's, how much are your guys able or willing to do?
Maybe we can take the monument at the flag post there up by the mill and move it. Remember, right in the middle of the road? We're looking for a place for it.
That's true.
Talked about that. We talked about moving it down here.
Unfortunately, no matter what we do, you have to take human error into add that into the possibility. Just like the fence that you guys were discussing at the mill site. People forget to turn, they go straight, whatever's going on there. We're going to have the same problem regardless of what we do on that island. You can put signs there, there's going to be curb there, there's going to be, plantings and soil or mulch or stone or whatever it is. It's still going to be an issue. We're going to have people accidentally driving across it because they're dense or whatever is going on.
or because they're looking at their phone.
Or that, yeah, that's the number one problem. So, I mean,
Yeah.
fortunately for us, once we put the signs up and this is all complete, the signs then become DOT's issue and not mine, so I'm happy with that.
Right.
That
And I
becomes
think the extended pavement markings and the curb, well, I mean, they'll help too.
Yeah, one of the biggest things, especially with curbing, even with the shoulder margin and so on, like, you know, obviously I'm the one that's going to be in charge of doing the job, so that's, you know, I know how I'm going to want to install it, so I'll have the curbing recessed so that it has a backer to it, so the snow plows don't blow it out. Just, you know, from my experiences working for DOT and understanding how much curb gets destroyed on a yearly basis due to the snowplow.
Yeah.
So that, I mean, that might be somewhat of an ongoing issue just because of, you know, it happens.
Also, I'm noticing there's no crosswalk on this plan, correct? To get from Blaine Road over to the sidewalk on the north side of 12.
That might be because there's no sidewalk on Blaine Road.
Right, but people do walk down.
Yeah, I'm one of them. Bernie's probably another.
Exactly. So could that be worked in? Janet?
I mean, we could add, if you add a new crosswalk to a state road, it gets beyond the ability of the local district to approve. I think they have to get approval of a new crosswalk from like headquarters at Newington. And with there not being a sidewalk down the intersecting side road, there's still a chance they could approve one. We could ask our engineer to look at it if people think it's valuable.
Yeah, but don't let it hold things up.
Sounds like an opportunity for some tactical urbanism.
It is, but
With a
I'll
can of
bring up,
paintbrush.
That's exactly what tactical urbanism is.
I'll bring up the example of the Knights of Columbus and crossing over to the dance studio that was brought up a while ago and put forth to DOT, and it turned out to be a hard no. Even though, you know, the evidence was there for the possibility of a requirement or a need for one, but they basically stated that there was nothing there to connect it to just to service a business.
Yeah, DOT's priorities are really the speed and flow of traffic. They are not pedestrian oriented.
Right.
So, you know, it definitely privileges vehicular travel over other means of travel, which is exactly what I said, a little tactical urbanism.
Right. And at least it would still be much safer than it is now, because instead of having to cross 100 feet of pavement, it'll just be a road's width.
Correct.
Right. There is the fact that state law says that every intersection, drivers have to yield to pedestrians, which, I don't know, maybe that's an argument for a crosswalk, but it's a weak one, I suppose.
Yeah, a pedestrian should be able to run full bore across the street. They still have the legal right of way. If you strike them with your vehicle, you're still responsible for looking for them.
Right. You're in the wrong, but they're dead, so.
Yeah, right. So, you know, the law favors the pedestrian regardless of whether there's a crosswalk there or not. The crosswalk just assists the pedestrian in not getting killed.
Right. Okay, I'm good with this. You know, I'd rather see it move along than anything else, you know.
When the time comes, Rich, you know, which is, you know, well down, and the construction is completed, we should have a conversation about the finish work on the site in terms of the landscaping and stuff.
Yeah, absolutely.
The simpler, the better.
Yeah, I mean.
I agree.
Right. I mean, obviously, it can just be planted with a lawn for the short term, but maybe some trees can be afforded or something later. I don't know. Is that what you're thinking, Tira?
Well, I mean, once you're at this size, so people already fish over this, right? So this is almost the definition of what you use as a parklet. So you have this piece of space. It's inactive on its own, or not optimally active. But in a very small amount of square footage, you can create something which is activated for the people in the way they want to use it. A person to fish, a little bench, a little dirt gravel path to enable the people who do walk or jog to try to make the crossing. It's the choice between it being a potential new eyesore to grow over, or something that is welcoming, particularly since you're now talking at the entrance to our, the gateway to our downtown as you continue down here. I mean, this is the beginning of that district.
Yeah.
You can put a welcome sign and a bench there. I don't see putting grass there because who's going to cut it?
Well, if it's not grass, what is it?
If it's the right kind of grass, it just doesn't grow that tall. Doesn't mean it never gets cut, but grass mowing is highly overrated.
Right.
Yeah.
But it does have to be some kind of vegetation to make a visual difference. I mean, we're getting rid of pavement. It can't be paved. You're not just going to let plain earth. So typically, just to prevent erosion, and I mean, shoulders are typically have turf establishment on them.
Yeah, so something, and that's obviously, there's a lot of permitting and construction to happen between now and then, but I guess the point of my raising it is, let's not have it be something that just sort of mushrooms out on its own. We just to be thoughtful about it as we do it.
Okay.
Agreed.
Yes.
So, Tira, do you want to contact David and tell him to David Held, the engineer, and tell him to keep proceeding, that the committee likes it?
To go ahead and submit to DOT, yes, I can do that.
Does that sound good to everybody?
Sounds good to me.
Yes.
There's no
Okay.
reason why we should hold that up, Rich?
No, sounds good.
Okey doke, I'll take care of that.
Okay,
You
great.
start working on it as soon as you get rid of this virus.
Okay, great. Okay, then I guess we can move on to item C, John Gumpert liaison. I think, Tira, you had some ideas on that, or?
Well, we had talked about it at the last meeting in terms of what the item was actually meant to represent when we brought this up in the past. And what's happened is we've had an update on what Amy has talked about with Gumpert, which is great and fine, and we needed that. But what the item was supposed to represent was naming a person, either actually on MSRAC or outside MSRAC, to the suggestion had been for Ken, because of his relationship prior with John, to maintain the communication with regularity, but also like when he comes up here and goes to meetings with EPA and DEEP, we've found out about them the last few times after they've been done. So something that's a little more proactive, not just in getting updates from John, but in going out there and saying, hey, what are you doing right now? Do you need help from the town? What's the obstacle? Because for better or worse, I feel that, John, is pretty comfortable not talking to us until he pleases. I mean, he's a private developer. We're not really giving him anything. He's proceeding on his own schedule and on his own terms. He certainly has been willing to a certain extent to communicate with us, but we've had to pursue him pretty actively. So having somebody to serve as a real point person, as the primary, person who communicates with him, I think would be wise. And of all of us who have dealt with him, I think Ken's got the best rapport.
So have you talked to Ken about this? About him coming
I've brought it up to him a couple times. He's, I think, generally in favor of it, but, he doesn't like to be aggressive about that kind of thing. So I think if we approach him and say, we discussed it and we would like to, you know, have you do this, that he would certainly agree to do it. But, you know, that is up to you guys. But that is what the line item in the agenda has been intended to address.
Well, I think we need to approach Ken ASAP and certainly make him a designated liaison with Gumpert. So whatever we have to do to push this, get it taken care of sooner rather than later, because you're right, Tara, we're losing valuable time regarding Gumpert's vision as to what he's doing. So we need to be on top of this.
Well, realistically, and I don't want to sound panicky over this, I don't think we're losing any time. I think he's on his own schedule. I think what happens is, because it's all private, you know, whatever support we've given him, because it's all private, I don't think that he feels a whole ton of pressure to reach out with us, except now and then with essentially one sheet information.
Tara, I have to interject, because
By all means.
it sounds like you're questioning my ability to be a liaison to John Gumpert.
No,
Because
not at
No,
all.
Amy,
I think,
Not at all. The feeling when we discussed this last week was just that Ken had a long-term
May I finish my
existing
statement?
relationship with him.
May I finish my statement?
Sorry.
It is possible for someone to pick up and continue to have a relationship being the new person on the block. I spoke with John yesterday, and I've asked him to send tax requests for his various phases of development, because that's something, the next thing we're going to have to think of. And I actually just forwarded it to you. I should have done it earlier, and I didn't think of it, because I wasn't thinking that you'd be able to share it on the Zoom, and I should have been thinking that. So he has sent me his former request. He sent me his current request. I've passed it along to our town attorney. I've sat down with Rainey Moran, gotten more details on the situation of taxes for those properties. And like I said, I'm happy to share that with the committee.
Is he
sure, I mean, and I think that's all great. I don't think anybody's questioning either your ability to deal with Gumpert at all. I think it's a total issue of sort of time and availability to deal with it in depth, sort of as a regular communication. And also the observation has been made, not just by me, that I don't think he's got a tremendously, I wouldn't say that he's got a low opinion of us, but I don't think that we are a priority to him. And just observationally, I would say that the most responsiveness he's shown has been to Ken, and that has nothing to do with you or me or Janet or anybody else who's dealt with him in depth. Even CME and Wayne have had some trouble getting responses from him.
Amy, is he responding when you contact him, you know, relatively promptly?
Absolutely, I haven't had a problem hearing back from him at all.
Oh, good.
So what he's saying, like, are there things that we should be finding out that he's saying? What is he saying? Tell us what he says.
Well, the next thing, he feels remediation. We've moved beyond the remediation process. The next phase will be deciding on what his tax abatement schedule will be. I'd like to move forward with that and get the Board of Selectmen to accept something, hopefully by the April 21st meeting, which he was very tickled about, John Gumpert, that is, because then he can move on to make the request to HUD for the financing, and things can start moving forward.
My concern was that I thought he wasn't responding to inquiries from Tira and you and, you know, the town in general. But if he is, I have no problem with leaving things the way they are.
Well, he's definitely not responding to me when I do try to contact him. I know that Wayne and CME also had trouble getting responses from him. So if Amy's not having trouble getting responses from him, then it's a moot issue.
Right.
Well, I think it's a mute issue. If he's responding to her, great, but then we also need to know that he's responding, because I have not heard anything from him, about him, or anything that is happening. So I don't like to sit and wait, because to me, hearing nothing means nothing's happening. But if Amy has information and he's talking with her daily, weekly, monthly, email or whatever, a nice little, hey, just let you know, get off the phone with John, then it kind of keeps us feeling like it's rolling. But no information is nothing to me. Nothing's happening.
Except for the last meeting, which I did not attend because I was doing something else here. I've had an update every meeting, I believe.
Yeah.
So,
I guess my feeling is that it is very important that we have somebody from the Board of Selectmen, whether maybe you can work it out yourselves, whether it would be Amy or Ken, but who can do all those things like that Tira said, and have time to go to the meetings in Hartford. And I think it's just important that it be somebody from the Board of Selectmen, because Gumpert isn't going to want to just talk to volunteers. So.
And apparently he doesn't want to talk to me either.
He may be simply saying, well, I'm going to talk to the first selectman's office, and it doesn't matter who the first select person is. That's who I'm going to talk to, and I don't really need to talk to the other people. And maybe that's why we felt he had a rapport with Ken. Maybe it wasn't because it was Ken. Maybe it was simply because Ken was first selectman.
I think you're right, Bernie.
Yeah, I do too.
All right, but that's certainly a valid point, and we can take that item off the agenda.
I just want to make sure on the agenda or on our minute meetings, it just states that we would like updates periodically when things are happening, and then to make sure that when there's meetings at the state level or the DP or whatever, that somebody's there representing always.
I agree with you, Charlene.
Thank you.
So we'll just change the nature of the agenda item just for more of a regular update.
Every month, I think, yes, we should get updated from the Board of Selectmen as to what's going on every single month.
Yep.
Amy, is that doable?
absolutely. And Tira, I sent you over that email that I had received with the tax information. If you could forward it to the members of this committee.
I don't think I have that, Amy. I haven't, there's nothing in my inbox. When did you send it?
I sent it during the meeting, while the meeting was going on, because I realized I hadn't sent it yet.
Okay, let me refresh here.
So Amy, what kind of tax action is he looking for by April, whatever you said, 14th or 21st?
Well, it's just, it's something, well, I'm hoping that I can get some type of approval by the Board of Selectmen to approve something in this manner. I don't think it's unreasonable. And when and if Tara gets the email I sent her, she can share it with all of you.
Okay.
Yep, that's what I'm doing right now. Where am I here?
Basically,
Come through. Can you see this?
Yep.
Okay.
Click on the attachment. It begins with the first
There we go.
proposal that was made to Marianne Shinati back in 2017. And
Oh
then,
yeah, look at that.
And then there's a second page which gives his latest proposal.
So this is what he is requesting right now.
Yes. Were you able to pull it up? It's not showing on the screen yet, Kira. It's just showing.
It's not?
No, not
see it.
the actual PDF. I'm not.
I can see it.
I can see the email, but not the PDF of what he's actually requesting.
Right.
Let's try.
Message.
It's definitely showing on mine as if it is shared.
I just see the email also.
Yeah, let's try this. New share. Screen. How about that?
There you go.
Yes.
Yeah.
There we go.
So you'll see there's relatively 5 phases. So that first one is the initial proposal that was made back in 2017. This latest one is a little bit different. So when I discussed with Rainey Moran, the tax collector, about the property, currently the taxes on 929 and 915 come out to be roughly $27,000. What he's proposing for years 1 through 5 in the pre-development stage is 15,000 in annual property tax on combined property. Rainey Moore and I both agree that, hey, it's better than getting nothing. Total past due taxes at this point are close to $500,000. On 929 and on 915, it is about 92,000, but that's a combined, and I should have corrected myself. That's combined with taxes and sewer. He does not mention sewer in this, so I guess it's something that we'll have to get clarification on.
Yeah, that's been a big sticking point, hasn't it, with WPCA?
In what way? Because it's overdue?
As I understood, and it hasn't come up in a while, I was under the impression that WPCA didn't really want to give up any of their back fees.
Right. Well, that'll be something to work with them on as well.
But it hasn't moved forward on that yet. That's still an open issue.
Sewer isn't even mentioned in this. It's just taxes, property taxes, all Mr. Gumpert is mentioning. So again, that'll be something that I'll have to address with him.
Okay.
He's for forgiveness in phase 1 on that lien that was on the property that's split between the other properties that Putnam Bank. So I don't know what their new bank is called. Looking forgiveness on that. Anyways, you can all read.
Okay. Thank you for forwarding that.
Yeah.
And to clarify, these are the numbers he wants to pay the town?
Correct. In the various phases.
Right, and so it keeps adding, like in phase 1, it's 20,000 for years 1 through 10. Then when phase 2 is completed, it's tacking on another 15,000 for years 1 through 10. When phase 3 comes in, it tacks on another 15,000 for years 1 through 10.
That's what it appears to be, and like I said, I did forward it to our attorney to see if he could give some clarification on it as well.
Okay, good, thank you.
You sent that over to Ken today, did you say, Amy?
Yes, I did.
Okay.
Okay. Well, that sounds like that is good progress if he's to the point where he's reaching out for this type of detail.
Right. He needs this in place for when he fully goes for the funding. He needs some type of tax structure in place.
Right.
Cool.
Will you be sending this to email to us?
Yeah, if Tara could, I don't have everybody's email. I mean, I guess I could dig up everybody's email, but I'm thinking.
No, I can forward it now that I have it. That's fine.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, great. Any other updates from the River Mill project? Okay, then I guess moving on in our agenda to D, other committee business. Anybody have anything else that we should discuss? Then I guess we'll move on to member comments. Any additional member comments?
In the minute you had made it, that I read, it said on the Ask Me Anything, there was to be some results. Where do we find those? Where do we find
So
that?
as it turns out, almost immediately after that last meeting, the world blew up and everybody sort of changed all their focus. So I do have partial return of comments. Well, we've got good return on the questions. I had some mixed returns on the responses that were given to questions, and that is not actually the fault of the people taking the responses or giving the responses. It was more that the instructions given at the front of the night were incomplete, so that's on me. I can certainly send you what I have, Norma. Like I said, it's mostly a list of questions, but some of the responses were received and written down pretty well. Like we've got some really good responses from the woman who's taking notes at the transfer station, or for the transfer station. Cindy compiled all the responses that were given at the planning and zoning table. Those stand out in my head as having been very complete. And then the others were more of a mixed bag, but we have them.
Okay, but I haven't seen any of them, so it would be beneficial if I at least saw some of them.
I would be happy to send those to you.
Thank you.
Back to the communication with John Gumpert. Tara, would it be a good idea for, instead of you even trying to reach him, just pass your questions on to Amy and let her do it? Is that a hassle for you, Amy, or is that a route we could take?
It's certainly a route you could take. I'd be more than happy.
Yeah, I mean, if he's not going to reply to me, but he is going to reply to Amy, then that is fine with me. I actually very rarely have anything I need to contact him about, but notably, when I have emailed him, if I've gotten responses at all, they've been super, super slow. And the last couple of times, I don't even remember what it was at this point, I noted that he chose not to reply at all. Busy guy, I know, but.
Okay, sounds good.
Okay. Well, I think this meeting worked out pretty well as far as our first remote view meeting.
Yeah, next time I hope the stomping ground's open. I'll do it from there.
Bernie, I think if the stomp is open, it means we can actually meet in the conference room.
Congrats.
You're right.
Okay, well, I guess then we can adjourn this meeting if there's no other comments. Okay.
Joke.
Okay,
Okey-doke.
we're adjourned. Thank you, everybody, for attending. And
It was fun.
let's keep making things happen.
Take care, Jan. Bye, everybody.
Okay,
Bye-bye.
Bye.
bye.